Gloom is a 2D roguelike that's reminiscent of Bloodborne with a healthy dose of depression and Victorian Gothic. Its graphics are simplistic, but it's darkishly pretty in a way, and it reminds me of the game Limbo. Like Bloodborne, most of its story is hidden in dialogue, and it's heavily inspired by Lovecraft. When playing Gloom, I highly recommend using a controller, but a keyboard works too. It just feels more natural using a controller. It's a linear game by definition because you can only move forward, and it's meant for speedrunning it too, with a clock and the pause menu. A full run would only take about 20 minutes, but you'll be spending a lot more time dying and replaying earlier levels, because you will die a lot, but you do get better through just skill and learning the game and all the patterns. However, nothing carries over after death except for these tokens that you can redeem for random items at the beginning, and you get them from bosses or just finding them randomly. The music in this game is good too, especially the boss music, but unfortunately you're probably only going to hear about like 3 tracks most of the time, because you're going to be spending a lot of the time in the first few areas due to dying a lot. Speaking of bosses, there are 3 different possible ones for each area, and of course each area has their own different unique enemies to them, but there's not too many of them, which is actually pretty nice because you don't have to memorize as many attack patterns. So the variety that is there is satisfactory. There's not too much, not too little, it's just right. And the reason why that works out is because this game is very much like a pattern recognition game. You're going to need to memorize the enemy's attack patterns in order to actually progress in the game, or else you're going to be having a hard time. Like in Bloodborne or Dark Souls, there is a parrying mechanic, but it acts more like a block instead. It also uses your bullets, and it does give a small damage boost, and there's also items available that can add different effects to it, like even more damage, or you can also heal each time you parry. There is no reliable way to heal except for items that give you health on progression, or there's potions that are scattered around, and those give random effects unless you have, say, the potion belt, which guarantees a small heal. And those potions could do anything from raising a certain stat to actually healing you, or just nothing at all. Unfortunately, the items in this game don't really truly change the way you play. They're mainly just stat bonuses. Also, another bad thing would be that you can't attack while you're in the air, which is very odd because there are flying enemies, so you're just going to have to wait for them to fly down so you can hit them. So you might end up with a situation where flying enemies just bully you, where they're just shooting projectiles down at you and you're just waiting for them to come down. Like many other roguelikes, this one is heavy-handed on luck and RNG and just getting the right items. And it's also very reliant on not making any mistakes in order to actually get by, and that's because of the lack of reliable healing. Because of the heavy reliance on getting the right item drop or not making any mistakes, I do not recommend this game for any achievement hunters because it is extremely difficult to get some of them. For example, one of them is a speedrunning achievement where you have to beat the game under 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Which pretty much requires perfection on every level. Overall, I don't recommend this game because the challenge just doesn't feel rewarding enough, especially how repetitive it gets. And also because of how there's nothing transferable after death except for tokens, but even that's a toss-up because it's still random on what you'll get. So there's a huge void of feeling any progress being made. But if it does look fun and interesting to you, you'll be able to blow a couple hours on it. I would say to get it during a sale though, it's not worth the $10 that they're asking for. That's it for this one. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and thank you for watching. See ya.